Hi, I'm Shelley Behan, and welcome back to Miss DUI Arizona. Today we're chatting with Sandra Barger from Bridges Counseling. Hi, Sandra. Welcome.
Hi.
Can you tell us a little bit? You have such an interesting background. We were chatting before we turned the camera on. Can you tell our viewers a little bit about yourself?
Well, I served in 3 branches of the military: the Navy, the Air Force, and the Army.
I won't ask you which was the best one. Go Navy. Go ahead.
I retired with the Army as a mental health specialist. So I have a passion with helping my fellow veterans as well. I work now with Bridges Counseling, and I do the DUI classes. I also do the DV classes, and they're all the moral recognition training.
Okay, excellent. And about how long have you been doing that type of work?
I've been with Lexus at Bridges for 6 months now. Prior to that, I worked at another corporation.
Okay. And so you've been involved in substance abuse counseling for several years?
Yes, I have. I actually worked with in the Army with the Army substance use programs in Fort Bliss.
Fort Bliss, Texas, El Paso. Yes.
I was stationed there a year, and I was the NCOIC of behavioral health. So we took care of all the soldiers that were being deployed and were coming back home. And part of that is addressing if they have any substance use issues or any other mental health conditions.
Okay. Well, thank you again for being here. Most of our viewers are interested in the treatment that is required for a DUI, but we'll also be talking about some other types of treatment. Can you sort of describe the process that a typical DUI defendant would go through when they come to your business to do the court-ordered treatment?
Well, the first thing is for them to make the phone call and get in and make an appointment with us. They need to bring in their citation, ID, any information pertaining to the DUI, especially their BAC, because that helps us determine what level of treatment they're going to get. They will do an assessment, which consists of a DAS, which is a drug assessment, a MAS, which is the Michigan assessment. Those things all put together with another assessment, which is a SASE, determine their probability of having a substance use disorder. That will help us determine what level they are. If they're a level 1, their treatment will consist of the 16 hours DUI education and 21 hours or more, depending on their results, of the treatment. If they're level 2, then it's just the 16 hours that they have to do, and then they're done. If they want to follow up with individual after that, then they can.
Okay. And so what is the maximum number of hours of treatment?
Well, it all depends on the BAC, also the circumstances in their case, and it also depends on the prosecutor and if they have a probation officer or parole officer. It depends on what they feel. Over that, we've had clients that have had 52 hours of DUI treatment, including, and those hours include that 16 hours. That 16 hours is a given, is part of it. So say they have 36 hours, it's the 16 hours and their 21 hours or so of treatment.
And what are the various forms of treatment?
Well, in our facility, we do the group therapies. And a group either could be just a basic group where everyone sits and they talk about, and we present a topic of the day like relapse prevention or some, responsibility. We may talk about, alcohol and the content, what is the level, how many drinks can you consume. We talk about that. And it's usually 26 weeks or so, or the 21 hours, or depending. If they have to do the 16 hours and the treatment, they have a choice to either do the group therapy or do an MRT program.
Okay, so and what is MRT therapy?
MRT is moral recognition training, and this is the book that they'll go through. And inside the book, it just goes through, your life, different circumstances. It taps into feelings, your emotions. It'll ask questions about your family history, and it kind of helps the person work through some of their addictions.
Okay. And but that isn't treatment that is typical in a DUI, or is it?
This is typical. A lot of facilities are using this, or they're using something similar. They may be using the matrix model, which is another treatment, and that goes through the 12 steps.
Oh, okay. So this would be separate from any 12-step type of program.
Yes.
Okay. Now, after they've made the appointment to come in and they've done the evaluation, they've done the gotten the assessment, and they know how many hours they're supposed to do. When can they start? Can they start right away, or how does that work?
They can start right away. They just, if we were not in the pandemic we're having right now with COVID-19, we would be having a group.
Okay.
And the MRT is also a group. So everyone would sit around and present out of their book, and all of the clients will share their perception, their feelings about it. Mm-hmm. So it becomes a group learning process. Because we don't have this right now, the clients are getting a one-on-one.
Oh, they're getting
out of the MRT.
Treatment. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, so, we're working on putting up the Zoom. But what we have found is that some of our clients don't have the technology to do that.
Okay.
So we make sure that the clients, we reach out to them, and we sit, and I, on my days do the MRT with them, and that is working for them. And they seem to enjoy that much better. I think when you go into a facility that you are court ordered to go to, the first thing is, why do I have to be here? Mm-hmm. I hate this. And you get all of the things like, well, the cop shouldn't have did this, or I shouldn't have done that. The bottom line is, you have to do this to get past whatever is happening, so you can move on and learn from it. And I always tell all the clients, there's no reason we can't make it fun. Okay. Make it enjoyable, and make it a little more personable, and help improve your situation. So I haven't had any complaints yet.
Okay. Now, you mentioned that some of the things have changed based on the COVID-19 situation that exists. Is there an online option for clients other than the Zoom?
We're working on the online option right now at the office. The clients can call in, and they can actually get packets that are mailed to them. They complete the packet, and they're geared to the hours, okay, like homework, and then they send it back in and regrade it, and then determine, if they have enough hours in, that we can give them their certificate to pass.
Okay. And is that what happens at the end of the treatment? They get a certificate?
Yes, they get a certificate. Usually if we're in a group setting, we have maybe we bring snacks or something, but you can't do that right now.
Okay. You mentioned that they're going to get assessed a particular number of hours. Can that be adjusted as the treatment goes on, or what is that, once established, is that sort of written in stone?
Because the way the court works, it's so much easier to say, okay, we're going to give this client 26 hours, and they're going to do the DUI education, and here's almost their completion date based on if they attend, or if I call them and they answer the phone.
Okay.
There is extension on that. If they miss, they can make it up. If we don't have no contact with them, then we'll close them out and have to start all over again.
Okay. And how many times of no contact would it take before they have to start over again? I'm asking for a friend.
Well, in the past, it was if we didn't get a hold of you within a month. Okay. If your probation officer, parole officer has not gotten a hold of you, if your attorney has not gotten a hold of you, and there's something going on, then we'll close you out. Mm-hmm. But if we did get a hold of you and you have extenuating circumstances, like what is going on right now, a lot of clients can't pay because they lost their job. So what we're doing is we're letting them go 2 or 3 classes to give them some time so they can at least make a payment. And like I tell the clients, bottom line is, if you owe money, you won't get your certificate. Right. You got to pay before you get your certificate. It's really sad to say it that way, but that is how it is.
All right. Well, and that brings up the question of cost. How much does the treatment cost?
The intakes, I believe, they're $65. Okay. They're $65 for the screening and the and then $65 for an intake. Then it is $30 for the MRT book, and that's if they're doing the MRT. If not, then it's $30 per class.
Okay. So is it, I just want to make sure that I'm clear, is it that the MRT is one option and then the group classes are another?
Yes.
Or are there times where the treatment's blended together that they do both?
Well, the MRT is a group.
Oh, I
but
see.
it's based off a book, so you have your guideline. Where the other group is like if you went to AA and they pick a subject, and we're all going to talk about, like I said before, relapse prevention today, and then everyone gives their input and goes around. I ran the groups before COVID came about and before we stopped the groups, and each member, I would make sure they participated, and we would have a subject. And I would ask them the question, okay, it's your turn now. And they'd go around and they would share. Where MRT is based off what you write in your book. Like here, important relationships in my life. So they will address the important relationships in their life, answer the questions, and they would share this with the group. And everyone else has done the same thing. Now, each client is at a different spot in the book because we have people coming and going. So we just pick up and we just go on, and the other ones kind of help the new ones. And it becomes an environment where they actually miss coming to group.
Well, that's very, very good. Okay. And can you sort of describe a typical treatment session?
Well, the treatment sessions, like I said, is based off the book. So what we're going to do is we're going to work on restructuring and changing some of the behaviors and the thinking. Like I tell my clients that have been arrested for DUI or substance use, I'm not here to tell you not to do it. I'm not here to make you quit drinking, but we are here to enhance your responsibilities when you do those things and understand the consequences of the action, and maybe better yourself by finding out sometimes why some people do drink in excess or why we do use drugs to mitigate other situations.
And are there other forms of treatment at Bridges besides DUI?
We do the THC classes. So if someone gets caught smoking marijuana, we have the THC classes. We also have the Paraphernalia classes, which is associated with the THC if they get caught with paraphernalia. So it's more about a moral responsibility, adult responsibility, learning the rules and behaviors behind why they got arrested and why this happened, and kind of touch on some of the substance use issues as well, and work them through that. We did have smart recovery classes, but because of COVID-19, they're put on a hold. Then we also have the DV classes.
Okay, can you talk a little bit more about those, how they're different from maybe the DUI treatment?
Well, the DV classes also uses the Bringing Peace in Relationships, which is another MRT program. And I mainly have a lot of DV clients right now, even though I'm a substance use counselor. They kind of play in together. So you have someone that went out and got a DUI, but they've had a DV. And, you know, it's about the human condition. Sometimes we drink because we're frustrated or angry or there's something going on. And that's the usual case. It's not like I was out with my friends and we're having a great time. A lot of the DUIs are that last minute, oh crap, I have to go do something, I have to go somewhere, I have to get out of here. And they get caught. So working on, if they've had a DV, working on the relationship part, understanding the different types of abuse and situations that lead up to it. One of the things in this book is there's a spot in there that says the jail recite. And you recite in your mind when something's going on, I don't want to go to jail.
Okay.
You know, I don't want to live through that again. You know, I need to take a time out. And it's about a time out. It's about stepping back from the situation and realizing, oh my, you know, that other person is getting to me, but I don't want to go to jail. So I'm going to take my time out and walk away.
Do you have clients that are doing both forms of treatment, both
Yes.
the DUI and the DV at the same time?
Yes, I do. I have a client that actually just finished his DV,
Mhm.
and then he got a DUI.
Oh,
So he's going to be coming back to me, and he's going to be doing his DUI stuff.
okay. And so what happens then if a person gets a second charge while they're in treatment already? So, for example, they've gone through the intake, they've been assigned a number of hours, they're working on that process, and then they get another DUI.
Then we find out from the court if they're going to add on any more classes, and then we reevaluate what other program can we use, if it's individual or if it's another type of group, or if we can give them a little bit of the packets, because that's what we're doing right now, and work with them a little closely to find out what is going on. Obviously doing another assessment, because there just may be a mitigating circumstance that caused it, and it could be, another mental health condition as well.
All right. And we've talked about a lot of different things. Are there any other things that the viewers who are interested in DUI and treatment or DV and treatment, do you think that they might want to know?
Well, with Bridges, if they're a veteran, I'm going to be heading up our veterans program and working with veterans, because it's a different entity, especially when it comes to a DUI or a DV. It's a little harder for some of those veterans to come out and talk about things. So I'm going to be working with that, and I do have quite a few veterans that are on my DV list, so that I work with, and they're very thankful that they have another veteran to talk to. And these veterans have seen combat, where the average person doesn't understand that part of it and what is going on. Other programs that we work with, Alexis does individual. We do parenting classes as well. We have the packets before we did have the classes. And that kind of helps out, especially if they're a client that's working with child services with DCS. Then they can get some of if they have a DUI or if there's a DV involved, they can kind of incorporate all those things together to meet some of the guidelines that DCS puts out. And one of those is parenting classes as well.
And so, in addition to those other programs that you mentioned, is there anything else that your office does?
Yes, Alexis does the revocation packets through motor vehicle, and we also have access to input their certificates into motor vehicle quickly. That way, when they're ready to go down and meet motor vehicle's needs on their DUI, once they're past that period of time that they were suspended, they can go in and get an interim license so they can at least get to work and be able to drive and get around.
Okay.
A lot of times they have to have the interlock, which is part of the program. So we do refer out, and we have the pamphlets, and they can choose which interlock place they want to go to. But most clients listen to the other clients to which ones are the best.
Okay. And the revocation packets, that'll happen for individuals who have more than one DUI, or they've been notified in some way by MVD that their license has been completely revoked.
Yes, and you need that packet to do that, to show the responsibility that you've done everything that you were required to do, that you haven't had any other DUIs or gotten in trouble for anything else, and just put all that together and send that in, and hope that they give you your license back.
All right. And can you let our viewers know how they would be able to contact you if they wanted to get more information or sign up for some of these courses?
Well, we do have a new website, and I have to get the paper so I can make sure I give it to you correctly. It's bridgestucson.com. You can also call us at, we have an Oracle office and a Pima office, and the Oracle office is 5669 North Oracle Road, Suite 2106. The phone number is 520-408-3247. And the Pima office is 5930 East Pima, Suite 208, and the phone number there is 520-320-1695.
Okay.
So they can go on the website. They can find a little more about Bridges. We're in the process of making it so they can actually pay on the website, download the packets, and get some of those things going. Intakes and assessments are still done by appointment only, in person, must wear a mask.
Mm-hmm.
We have all this stuff set up. We have thermometer, we take temperatures, we make sure everyone's safe and comfortable, since the offices are small closed offices. So just make an appointment.
Well, thanks so much. Our guest today has been Sandra Barger from Bridges Counseling in Tucson. Stay tuned on Miss DUI Arizona YouTube for more information, more videos, and more interviews. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay defended. Thank you.